Onward into the island of the dwarves, the dwarf cave. Hello. Lolly-ho. Lolly-ho. Interesting. Dwarves say lolly-ho, apparently. As they do. Hello. A dwarf horn was stolen. Lolly-lolly-ho. Oh no. Guzko stole the dwarves' treasure, the 2 horns. He dove into the lake. So did he steal 1 horn or 2? 2 horns of ice, the dwarves' treasure, but a bad guy stole them. Oh no, we can't forgive him. No, we cannot. Guzko stole the dwarves' treasure, the 2 horns. He dove into the lake. I already knew that. A beautiful crystal tower used to stand on the North Mountain. Now there's just a cave there. Far to the east, across the outer sea, is a village called Gisal. I already went there. I went there before coming here because I already knew about it. Ooh, new stuff. We have ice armor. I will buy a helmet. And I think that's it. The ice armor has the same stats as the flame mail, it just resists different stuff. So I don't know if it's better to have the ice helm and the flame mail for spreading out your magical elemental defenses. But whatever, I don't think I need the carapace anymore. I'll hold on to it for now, just in case. I don't think I do, but I could be mistaken. And then here, we have the weapon shop. Serpent, Salamand. I could get Gatai, an extra Salamand, to increase his overall damage. But then I would have less elemental coverage, I believe. What I do want, though, is another 3-part. Unequip the Tonfa, get my attack up to 68, or without, it's 58. So yeah, I want that. And those are the strongest nunchucks in the entire game. And soon they will become completely outdated and I'll be better off just punching stuff with my fists. But we're not quite there yet. Hello? Item shop? I feel like we're still good on items. 10 potions. At least a couple status healing things. Let's put that there for better organized. Yeah, but I will sleep at the inn. Alright, so we have arrived at the Dwarf Island, the Island of Dwarves, or whatever they want to call it. And we have heard rumor that the fire crystal is here, but we also have discovered we've put a spell around the remaining horn so no one can get near it. But we've also discovered that someone came and stole the dwarves' treasure. So we should help them with that, and then maybe they can guide us to the fire crystal. Okay, do we dive in? No way, blah, 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 frog. We have to become toads once again. Toad magic, shrink down, become frogs to swim into the water. Into the underground lake where Guzko reportedly fled. Toad again to convert back to normal. And into we go. And while we are going through this, oh no, bombs! These things explode. That's a bad thing. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Freezing. And then you cast ice. Anyway, I remembered after I beat the previous dungeon that I was supposed to talk about a thing. I don't know if I've talked about it before elsewhere, but I used to play a number of tabletop role-playing games when I was younger, mostly ones I made myself, long story short. And there's a particular scenario I had an idea for once that the story about the light and dark and the balance and all that reminded me of. The whole backstory of there being light warriors in response to darkness and dark warriors in response to light reminded me of a scenario idea I had in which there is a world where every few centuries a hero of light and a hero of darkness would emerge, and they would basically fight each other, and the winner would determine the fate of the world for the next few centuries. If the Dark Warrior won, then the world would be plunged into despair and turmoil, whereas if the Light Warrior won, then people would have lots of peace and prosperity for that time. As it turned out, for the last several times that this has occurred, the Light Warrior was the one who had won. But as it turns out, nobody really knows about this, but as it turns out, the purpose of this war is to maintain some sort of cosmic balance between light and dark. And because the light hero has been winning so often, there's an imbalance where if the hero of light basically succeeds one more time, the universe will basically implode upon itself because there's too much light. Basically, the scenario is going to involve the players in this world, and they don't know about that either. They know about the war that happens, and they would meet the heroes. But at a certain point, they would be taken aside by the Dark Hero, and he would explain this stuff, and it would basically be up to the players to decide whether or not they trust this guy, or is he just trying to fool them because he's evil. And they would have to decide which hero to trust, basically. Are they going to help? It would be at a point where the Dark Hero was about to be killed, and so it seems like almost desperate. He's just trying to do whatever he can to survive by coming up with this ridiculous story, and the players would basically have to decide whether to trust him or not. And if they chose not to trust him, then the world would end when the Dark Hero is killed. But it would just be presented in a way where it would basically be his word versus everything they've been led to believe. And sure enough, the world would be plunged into despair if he wins, but that would be a small price. But it's kind of like that's a small price to pay for everything not ending. At least that's just kind of a rambly way of putting it, while I'm trying to focus on both explaining that and focusing on what I'm doing in this game. If I were just focused on one or the other, I could describe it a bit more eloquently. But that's the gist of it. Two warriors who fight each other every few centuries, determine the fate of the world for the next few centuries until that war happens again, and an imbalance between light and dark that's been caused by these fights being one-sided for so long that it's become a problem. And the players would have to come to terms with that, accept that, and act accordingly. Just a little something I thought I could talk about while going through a dungeon that otherwise has nothing really going on to talk about. And while it has nothing to do with this game in particular, at least directly, it's still sort of related in that I was reminded of that from this game's story. And again, it's just a way to keep conversation happening when there's very little going on worth commentating. And that's one of the problems with RPGs, is it's kind of hard to have stuff to talk about when you're just going through a dungeon, just fighting stuff, and then you're fighting stuff some more. Hello? Ah, stay away! I won't give you the horn. Die! Because it is the rational assumption that if you're going to take this thing from me, I'm not going to drive you back or simply defeat you, I'm going to kill you. That's the only logical solution. Arrow, attack! Let's beat the crap out of this weird guy. Ice 3? Chomp, 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 chomp. Ugh. That hurt a bit. Ice 3, but my magic hurts about the same. Even though it is higher level magic. Arrow! That didn't do crap. Alright. Cure, Gaudia! Gatai, just keep slashing away with your swords. Gaudia, try Ice 2. I want to save some of my high-level magic for getting out of this place. Especially because this guy's not doing too much. Ice 2! Wah! That did more damage than Ice 3. Good job, game. Ice 2. I struck at Gaudia with his snake. Or maybe a kick? I like to think more that he stretched out his arm and then the snake lunged at Gaudia, but Gaudia dodged to the side, avoiding the venomous bite, and then struck with ice. And then we just ganged up on this one guy because that's the heroic thing to do. Chop chop. Ah, that sucked. Whack whack. Ah, that also sucked. Fire 2. Ow. Aha, my armor protects me. You see, I am wearing a hat. Guzco has been defeated. 8 capacity, lots of experience. Obtained the dwarf horn. And now let's get out of here as we are followed by Dot, which we can talk to. Eh? We are suspicious of this dot. It's even in our party on the screen. Let us press onward, ignoring this weird line that follows us. And I know some people are going to be like, why aren't you using the exit spell to just leave? Because I would get less experience points by doing that. That's why. And this will help me in the long run. This will make getting out of the dungeon take longer, but in the long run, I will benefit from taking my time and fighting my way out. The only time I use the exit spell is if it's an actual emergency. Like if I didn't have the strength left to get out of here by walking, then I would use the exit spell. I prefer it more as an emergency exit rather than relying on it every time I beat a dungeon. If I have the strength to walk out, I would rather walk out and get the experience points, the capacity, and the money for walking out, because that's just a little bit less grinding that I might have to do down the line. And again, I'm getting the grinding done by progressing by the natural process of progressing, rather than standing outside a town or a dungeon just walking around in circles for a while. This is a much preferable way of doing it. Besides, now that we're leaving the dungeon, I don't have to be as conservative with my magic points and resources, so I can blow through these fights a lot quicker than I was going into the dungeon as opposed to going out. And it's not just this game, this is just how I prefer to play RPGs in general. I like to take the long way, if possible, because I feel like it pays off in the long run to take your time, rather than try to rush things and end up having to deal with the consequences of having rushed later on, because the result of you rushing means you're not as prepared as you would have been had you not rushed. Dear dwarves, your heroes have returned! Thank you! Thank you! You got our horns back! Please return them to their original place. Wait, I'll dissolve the magic. Remove the barrier so that now you can pass. Place the horn on the altar. Yes, we have returned your dwarf horn, and we will now return it to its rightful place. Victory. Ha 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 ha! I've been following you in your shadows. Now I've got both horns. What? Plot twist! Guzko bamboozled us. He was the dash that followed us. Now he has both horns and he flees. You ignorant fools! This horn of ice will open the path to the crystal of fire. Now the power of fire will belong to me. Like hell it will, as you run through the wall instead of going around. That guy headed for the mountain to the north. Please, bring them back the two horns. Oh no, panic music. Guzko ran away to the cave to the north. He took the two horns. This is awful. I can't believe it. Guzko's gotten both of the horns. Terrible, terrible. Both of the horns have been stolen. Blah, 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 blah. Guzko has fled. We fell right into his trap and he took both horns now. And now he's going to use them to access the crystal of fire, which is exactly what we need to do. So in a way, he has helped us. We must give chase. But first, we're really close to a level up, but I also kind of want to hold on to my capacity because I know I'm going to be needing it soon. Because once we get the next crystal, we will unlock new jobs. And I want to make sure to have the capacity to then use those jobs. But I also want hit points. I'm not sure exactly how expensive it will be to become the new jobs. Forget it. I'm not gonna worry about it. I would rather make sure I have enough capacity to adopt the new jobs once I get those, rather than get a few more hit points. Especially since this early on, we have such low vitality that the difference isn't too massive. Later on, our vitality in general will be higher. And so our levels will also, the levels will be more significant in that regard. So I'm just gonna hold on to my capacity to make sure I have all that I need when that time comes. With that, let's head to the cave to the north and retrieve the stolen horns from Guzko, and also stop him from claiming the power of the Crystal of Fire for himself. Instead, we will claim it for ourselves, because that's far less greedy, for we are the heroes. Onward into the Flame Cave, in the pursuit of Guzco. And there's lava. Hello, Crocota. We can handle you. We have tools for this sort of thing, like the freezing staff. Use that on that. You attack that, split up all those attacks, and then Gaudia blasts them all with ice. Whack whack. Assuming they're weak to ice, because this is a flame cave. Ow. That's a lot of damage. Ow. That's a lot of damage. Ow. Please hit somebody else. Uh-oh. Well, I got one of them. Attack! You cast Cure on Gatai. Gatai attack. Gaudia attack. Someone please protect Gatai. Oh, whack whack. I got in the way and struck him down. And then Gatai recklessly charged forward to take out the other, completely disregarding his own safety to do the heroic thing and kill. Daryl level up. Azure level up. Gaudia level up. Damn it, Gatai. Why did you have to get your experience points all weird? Cure. Cure. Yep. Not optimal hit points this time, but it's okay. I'd rather hold on to my capacity points at the moment, because new jobs are coming up. South Wind. Uh-oh, upgraded bombs and slime. That's okay, we can defeat them. The balloons are searching. Whack, whack, whack. And then the red mallow did nothing. It failed in its attempt to be mighty. Ice! Whack, whack. Alright, let's defeat these bombs. They are weak. Unless they explode, then they are strong. Whoosh. Alright, there's one down. And there goes the other. Gatai leveled up. Okay, he's caught up. And I assume because of the ice horns, Guzco using the ice horns, we can pass through the lava unharmed. It's weird being able to walk through lava without taking damage, but I assume the implication is that Guzco used the ice horns to cool the lava, enough so that it's more like water, maybe hot water, but still water. Whereas I assume if you tried to come here before that event, you would probably be blocked by the lava. Maybe it would just do massive damage or it just wouldn't let you enter it at all. I don't think I've ever actually checked that. But what matters is that we can pass through now unharmed, skill up, and make our way to the fire crystal to gain its blessing and also save it from the evil man who wishes to exploit it or something. Freezing staff! Ga-da-da-da! That was good damage. Cha-cha-cha! And now maybe Gatai can take out the other one? By himself? Nope. I was hoping. I had high hopes. Blind them! Haha! Please attack somebody else! Thank you, and you missed. Heal up Gatai. The blind paid off, though, protecting him. Gaudia saw that they were converging on Gatai, the guy who they'd like to attack so much, so he's just like, blind! And a shroud of darkness came over their eyes, one of them stumbling to the ground. The other, though, had just narrowly gotten in a hit. Cha-cha-cha! Whack whack! Good job, Gaudia, you did it. You defeated a thing without magic. Gatai, skill up. Let's do that. And then you attack that one. And then you try to put the bombs to sleep. Dang it. Fortunately, I don't think the bombs explode unless they're damaged first. I think that's what the searching thing is. I think if it says searching, that means that they were going to explode, but they weren't damaged, so they didn't. Which is why we're going to try putting them to sleep one more time, while Gatai and Daryl finish off the slimes. Sleep! Okay, there we go. Now it's much safer to go after these guys. So let's attack, you cast a group cure, and everybody else fight! That's one. Whack, whack, whack. Okay, it's awake. Whack. Hopefully that won't matter, though. Defeat it before it has a chance to regain its senses from having woken up. Good job, Gatai. You did it. You saved us from possible flaming death. Gaudia, skill up. Let us delve deeper into the flame cave to B2F. More lava that doesn't matter. It's just aesthetic at this point. Although the waterfall matters, walking through the waterfall will do damage. But first we have to get this treasure. And defeat more Grokodas. That's one. I got some good hits there. Ugh! More damage to Gatai. Ice! Summon cold like they've never known before living within this volcano. The iciness spreading over their skin and sealing them in death. And then Gatai comes over and just chops that one's head off. A much cleaner and perhaps less painful way to die. Perhaps the frozen one isn't even dead, it's just frozen. Soon, after we have already moved on, it will thaw out and continue its life, its friends slain at his feet. He awakens to their corpses. Remove the serpent. Attack 73 to attack 88 with the ice sword thingy. Oh no, we have to go through this. Ow, 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 ow. And now we have paths. Let's go to the bottom one first. I don't remember which one is progress and which is treasure. You attack that. You confuse that guy. You attack that. And then you cast ice on them. And break. Chop, 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 chop. Oh yeah, that's way better. Now that he has that ice sword, exploiting their weaknesses, while also just having higher attack power. I just instantly woke him up from his confusion because the ice did too much damage. That's okay. The most disappointing aspect isn't that my strategy kind of fell apart. It's that I wasted a magic point. Oh, this is a bad. Ow. Alright. Go forth. Confuse. Go forth. Back up. Azure, cover us with your confuse magic while we get into position. You got one of them. Taking a hit for us, putting himself in danger to protect the rest of the party. Attack that guy. Freezing. You attack that guy. And you use ice. Ka-cha! Oh no, Gatai's in trouble. Chop. Yes, betray your friend! The Gurkana was on Gatai, about to finish the job, but then his ally came from behind and just slaughtered him by surprise. And then while he came back to his senses, he was like, bleh, and then Gatai finished the job. And then he got more skilled. And then I need to fix my rose. Let's use a potion. Alright, we're healed up. Let's press onward. Get a high potion. We traded a couple normal potions for a high potion. I'm okay with that. And then up for more treasure. Another high potion. They're setting us up to have some heals. 3rd floor. Still advancing to treasure. Potion. And then continuing to advance. down a very long hallway to a rock and a treasure. Hello, Adamanti. You're almost an Adamantoise, but it's kind of spelled wrong, and there's also not enough room. Defeat it! This turtle stands in our way! That wasn't even a battle. I think Strike First just stabbing at his dead. I think what happened was we were walking through this narrow hallway. This turtle was just sitting there. It was in our way. It wasn't even facing us. It was just sitting there chilling. And then our solution was for Gatai. We were like, what the hell are we gonna do about this turtle? We gotta get it out of the way. And then Gatai was just like, charge! It just jumped up onto its shell. The turtle looked back like, huh? And then Gatai just horizontally swung his sword and lobbed the thing's head off. Completely unnecessarily before it even knew what was going on. And then he paid the price with karma turning him to stone. Getting punished by karma for murdering a completely innocent creature that just happened to be blocking our path and choosing death instead of coming up with a more peaceful solution to the problem. Hello, Treji, another high potion. Search the rock, open path. We learned about rocks that look like that at the beginning of our journey. And then we walked through this suspicious room into the fire crystal chamber. But we know Guzco came before us. He was also after the crystal, so it stands to reason that we should be ready to confront him. So let's heal up. And we've got solid amount of capacity. Hopefully that's enough for what we will need after this, because we're about to fight this guy. Oh, he said thing. But for some reason the up button made it advance. Maybe I'll put what he said first up on the screen through the power of editing. But until I destroy you, who have been blessed by the light, I won't possess the true power of fire. Sorry, but I guess you'll just have to die. This guy likes resorting to killing people who get in his way. Guzka has become the salamander through the power of the fire crystal. He indeed has gained the crystal's power, but we cannot stand for that. We must defeat him and claim the power of the crystal for the light. Beat him up! Defeat this weird-looking dragon with ice! Solid damage, Scotia. Ow! Why does everybody always attack Gatai? Chop, chop, chop! Arrow magic! Azure says that. He doesn't just chant arrow. He says magic at the end of all of his spells. So he's like, arrow magic! Ice 3! Cha-ka-ta! Beat the shit out of this dragon with weapons and magic. Arrow magic! But then Gadia, much more sophisticated, is just like, Ice 3! And he always looks over at Azure like, why do you say magic after ow? After every spell? And it's like, it just immerses me. It gets me more focused. It helps me get more power from my magic because I believe harder in my magic as being magic. It ups my faith in my power. And then I'm like, Cure 2 magic. See? Behold how much more I can heal when I say that. And Gandhi's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? And Azure's like, I speak of my ultimate power. And then he's just like, sure, whatever. Just do what you gotta do to keep us alive so we can win this fight. Urgh! Cure 2 magic! As he only heals himself, but that's okay. He did not know things were going to be so painful. Oh no, Ice 2 didn't work. Okay, what we need to do is you high potion yourself. Azure, cast Cure 2 on Gadia. Gatai, just keep whacking it. Gadia, keep attempting Ice 2. Oh no! Ugh. Chop, 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 chop. We got this. Cure 2 failed. Cure 2 on the party. Attack! Oh no! Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha! Gatai wins! Victory! Thanks to my armor. He's like, grah. And now I have the most experience points. All of you who have been mocking me all this time for having fallen behind, it was all part of my plot. For when we would reach this point and I would claim the lead by surprise out of nowhere, everyone's dead. But that's okay because we won, and that's all that matters. He's so close to leveling, but it's good that he did it because we're about to get new jobs. Fire Crystal. Light warriors, I shall offer you the spirit of light that sleeps within the flame. Receive jobs from the Crystal of Fire. The crystal is shedding its light silently. Light warriors, bring hope back to this world. I will flash at you. Okay, so through our victory, we have received new jobs. We have the Hunter, which is an archer who can cast low-level white magic. We have the Knight, who is the upgraded fighter. He uses mighty swords and armor and can protect the party with his own body, taking hits for them. Then we have the Thief, who is a thief. He can steal useless garbage that is not worth it at all. And he can attack viciously with knives. His greatest asset is being able to open locked doors without needing keys. And then we have the Scholar, an elemental warrior who fights by hitting things with books instead of reading the books. And he has the innate power to observe enemies and learn how tough they are and also analyze their weaknesses. So that's what we've got to work with. Okay, so first of all, Gatai, no longer are you a pitiful fighter, now you are a less pitiful knight. Strength 19, Agility 19, Vitality 11, Intellect 5, Spirit 6. Become a knight. Upgrades. Just everything will become better. Strength, Agility, and Vitality all up to 20. Intellect and Spirit went up a little bit as well, but those don't really matter so much for you. You actually have more Vitality than me now, so your hit points will start pulling ahead over time. Now let's re-equip your Ice Blade, and your Salamander Blade, and all your armor. Now let us leave. And save. Back to the dwarves. Oh no! Gatai is under attack. He can handle this. He can deal with these weaklings all on his own. Urgh! Fool, you cannot defeat me. Haha! Look how much more heroic I look now with this fancy cape and fancier armor. Chop chop to you, I say. He says it like that, for he is heroic now. As he is carrying these corpses back to town. 300 experience, Gatai leveled up. Okay, we have returned to the dwarf cave. Hello? Light warriors, help! Are you alright? Gatai says, being the only one who is conscious, his 3 friends all piggybacking on him as he is trudging through the cave, trying to carry them to the revivification spring. The village of Tokkul. Now that they're through pillaging it, they're going to burn it. Please, save Tokkul! Hein can change his weak point, but the Scholar can see through that. Spoiler warning! This guy's just like, this is how you beat the game! As his last words are just telling us exactly what to do. It's kind of weird. Hello, dwarves. Thank you. The dwarves' treasure of the 2 horns has been returned. Thank you. Take this and thanks. You can get more of them in Gisal. Received a magic key. Neat. Lolly ho, the horns have returned. Woohoo, lolly ho. We give you the treasure of the dwarves as thanks. Moonwalk will be your guide, lolly. There is treasure to be found down here. If we'd come down here before, this path would have been blocked by a rock. We would have only been able to get to the revivification spring. And that's it. And now, We also want to switch Azure. Azure is no longer a white wizard. He is going to become the Hunter. That costs a lot to become that. Hunter! Yeah, I forgot to check my stats. But now, 15, 30, 15, 8, 8. Spirit is not as good, I'm sure, but strength, agility, and vitality are all up. And I also can't use as much magic anymore. I can only use levels 1 through 3 magic, and I also can't cast arrow. But we will manage. I actually have done that before, replaced my white mage with a hunter. It can be rough, but so long as you buy plenty of high potions, you can get through most of the game just fine like that. And for the time being, Daryl and Gadia are just gonna stay the same. You also need new stuff. Leather hats. I'm gonna have to buy you some new equipment in a moment. Oh, treasures! So much stuff. Otterhead, elixir, gauntlet, killer bow, echo herb, soft, scholar, flame, scholar, ice, knight, can't carry anymore, phoenix down, can't carry anymore, carrot. Make good use of the dwarves' treasure, Lolly, I will. Azure, equip the killer bow, for you use arrows now. Oops. Leather, and you got some upgrades as well. Unequip the flame mail. Wait. Re-equip the flame mail. 22, 12, 8. We will bring our defense from 20. Where's the knight armor? And the, oh wait, no, not the ice helm. You keep the ice helm. The mithril glove for the gauntlet. 28. And now your other things are up to 28, 16, and 8. Just improvements all around. And I don't think you can use the mithril. You can equip the flame mail, though. So equip the flame mail. Hero shield. Light book. I need to unload some stuff. I don't think I'll ever use the Otterhead. It just casts exits, but I don't see myself really using that. Mithril Gauntlet I no longer need. I don't think I ever need the Carapace anymore. Or the Serpent Sword. That's kind of outdated at this point. Burning and freezing. Because we don't have our White Mage anymore. Can't even equip the Mithril Ring? No, I guess not. That's okay. Armor. He can, however, equip the Ice Hat. And you equip the Scholar Robe. And you, Leather. Replace that with the Ice Helmet. And that's the Hunter's best armor in the entire game. The Ice Helmet and the Flame Mail. And whatever arm thing I get. He gets a couple things that he can equip there, but that's the best armor he gets. I'm pretty sure from what I recall when last I used him. When last I used a Hunter. This is the best armor the Hunter gets for the entire game. So we'll be having fun with that. And yet he's still able to survive just fine, just from being in the back row. But if he does get hit, especially later on, it can be extremely painful. I also think about now, let's see, 28, 16, 8. If I equip the Hero Shield, my attack drops significantly, but my defense will go up to 38. And also just get a ton more other defenses. I think about now, I want to have a shield. He won't deal as much damage, but especially now that he can cover people, I think I'm gonna have him with a shield. At least for now, I'm gonna at least try that. Alright, so we've got the Blessing of the Fire Crystal, and now we have been told that Takol is in trouble. It's gonna be destroyed now that Hein no longer has a use for them, so we have to go help them. But first, I have a stop to make.